Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. Now, this is a fight that I wanted to talk about yesterday, but unfortunately, I had to attend to other things. And this is the fight between Vergil Ortiz and Israil Madrimov. Now, this was one of the more entertaining fights that we saw on the card yesterday as part of Reassessing. And I was told by many in our Discord, in our comment section, on our live stream, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we have live panels and call-in. So make sure you check us out. That Israil Madrimov was going to be victorious versus Vergil Ortiz. And the sole reason that they felt this way was because of his performance against Terence Crawford. Now, these individuals had never heard of Israil Madrimov prior to his fight with Terence Crawford. They spoke of Israil Madrimov. He changed his style for Bud. He fought a completely different fight for Bud. That's why he gave Bud problems, the herky-jerky style. All this nonsense. I saw people saying that he was borderline elite, that he was a A-level fighter, that he would beat every other champion at 154. That's what I was told. That's what many of you said. And I know you know who you are because you were the ones who said it. And I told all of you that Vergil Ortiz would beat Israil Madrimov and that Israil Madrimov is not what you guys are trying to pretend that he is. And you're solely pretending that he is that by for the purposes of bolstering Terence Crawford. That's the sole reason. And last night, Vergil Ortiz demonstrated exactly what I was saying. There was no difference in Israil Madrimov last night. He was absolutely the same fighter. He was the same fighter that we saw against Terence Crawford. The only difference was he had an opponent in front of him that knew what he was doing. That was a natural 154-pounder that matched up with what Israil Madrimov was doing, applied the pressure to him, and broke him down systematically because he ran out of gas. Just that simple. That easy. It wasn't that Israil Madrimov was overly elite. It was that Terence Crawford was a small guy moving up. So that brings me to this whole situation with Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, as I told many of you, is a much better fighter than Israil Madrimov. Israil Madrimov has an interesting style. He can move a lot, but there's only so much you can move. And as I told many of you, the style that Terence Crawford is going to have to employ to be successful against Canelo Alvarez, the movement, because that's what many of you are talking about, by outboxing him. That means movement. Dot, 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 gone. Dot, 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 gone. That takes a lot of energy, as Israil Madrimov demonstrated last night. He ran out of gas trying to constantly move. And once you run out of gas, that's your ass. And it was his ass last night. Terence Crawford will not be able to move continuously that long against a Canelo Alvarez. Terence Crawford is a smaller guy, and I know that he walks around at 170 pounds, whatever. But Terence Crawford has never fought at 170 pounds, 168 pounds. He has never fought at that weight class. Canelo Alvarez has. He showed signs that his power is not transitioning up against Israil Madrimov. I saw somebody in our comment section yesterday who is an avid Terence Crawford fan say, man, Israil, he wasn't afraid of Terence Crawford power like he was afraid of Vergil Ortiz power. He's avoiding that power. He didn't have that same level of fear. Terence Crawford power did not transition up to 154 pounds. And I'm not so sure how much power he had. He landed a lot of good shots, but he didn't like Sean Porter looked like he could have continued. Now, Errol, he just landed so many shots on Errol that I think Errol was pretty much done by that point. But Errol didn't really feel like the same Errol we've known from the past, although I still think Crawford probably wins that fight, even if it was pre-accident Errol spins. But that power isn't really transitioning up. Now, if he couldn't affect Israil Madrimov, but Vergil Ortiz, who was also a former 147 pounder, but who is naturally bigger than Terence Crawford, was able to affect him power wise like that, then that tells me that Terence Crawford lacks the power. And then when he moves up to 168, it will be even more evident that he lacks power. So if he lacks the power to keep Canelo Alvarez honest, I don't care how much he boxes. He can move as much as he wants to. Eventually, them legs going to give out. Terence Crawford will be 38 years old when he fights Canelo Alvarez. 38. He ain't 28. He's 38. Terence Crawford hasn't demonstrated a lot of foot movement since Jeff Horn. That's the last time he demonstrated a lot of foot movement. I would pull that video up, but Top Rank, they flag everything. That was the last time we saw Terence Crawford really utilize his legs a lot. He goes into the ring and try to utilize his legs for all 10 rounds or 12 rounds. He will have to stand his ground. He will have to end up getting Canelo's respect. And I think that's going to be incredibly difficult to achieve, considering he struggled to get the respect of Israil Madrimov when Vergil Ortiz got it instantly. Instantly. Now, anything can happen in the sport of boxing. Maybe Terence Crawford does move up and beat Canelo Alvarez. Who knows? I mean, anything can happen. But based off of the history of the sport, we've never seen a 135 pounder move up and beat an elite fighter, an elite bigger opponent. We've never seen that. We've never seen a guy move up 3 weight classes and beat an elite level opponent. So I'm going to be interested in seeing what people have to say on our live stream today, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Israil Madrimov narrative is dead. Is over. Done with. We have to reassess Bud's performance at 154. And if you're telling me that you don't reassess, you are unwilling to reassess Terence Crawford's performance at 154 due to what we saw last night, then that just tells me you're a bud. What do they call them? Bud buddies? You're definitely a bud buddy. That's who and what you are. And that's okay as well, because you all keep the sport. Well, maybe you don't, because most of you don't buy any of his pay-per-views anyway. That's not nice. But I said it anyway. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section in regards to this. Do you feel that Terence Crawford's performance at 154 needs to be assessed now that we've seen who Israil Madrimov really is? Personally, I always knew who Israil Madrimov was. And I was not surprised whatsoever that Vergil beat him, because I picked Vergil to beat him. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast on Sports Media, and I am out.